Dad, you have to wake up. Kano is downstairs. Hi, this is Cass from Mozzie Cass Plays, and welcome back to After, which is my sequel to my Shipwrecked Survival Challenge. The guys obviously are still on vacation in Chestnut Ridge. It's, I think, Saturday morning, early in the morning. They've all gone to bed after the big revelations and arguments and everything that happened the day before. Tilly did go to bed, but even though her phone doesn't have internet access here, she set a little reminder and put it under a pillow, like a little buzzy alarm to wake her up. She's getting out of bed, and I'm gonna have her very quietly sneak out of the bedroom, being very careful not to wake up her little sister. She's gonna jump on Robin's laptop. They did bring a laptop for Robin because well, for the whole family, but mainly for Robin because she had some assignments she needed to keep up to date on. It does have internet connectivity, so there's no like mobile phone cell service out here. But this laptop has internet connectivity, and she desperately wants to talk to Kano. He's got a phone, but he doesn't check it. He is a volcano deity. He's not very internet connected. She's sending a message to Alexander. She's like, I need you to get a message to Kano for me. Because she'd said she was going to go to the prom with Kano as kind of sort of a couple, and she'd said she was going to go to prom with Alexander as a friend, and she's like, my parents have sprung this stupid vacation on me. I won't be able to be at prom. They're saying I can't go. I'm really mad. Can you please tell Kano I am trusting you? And she's begging him because she knows they don't get on. She's worried that Alexander will just not tell Kano to like cause a rift in the relationship or something like that has occurred to her. And frankly, it would occur to Alexander to try it as well. But she's basically saying, look, I know you don't like him, but I need you to do this for me. Okay, it's really important. This is where we're staying. And she's putting the location in there as well. She's kind of hoping Kano will show up here. It's not a bad assumption to make, let's be honest. So she's sending that message. And then I am going to have her go back to bed. Maybe go to the bathroom. So, I mean, she does need... For me, that I would call this needs to go in the context of going to bed. She needs to go enough. So, she's going to the bathroom, partly because she needs to go, but partly just in case Robin's kind of half woken up. So that if Robin then hears the toilet flush, she'll know why she was up. So, because this place is so far off the beaten track, I've added a couple of things for them to do that don't involve like electronics because there's no TV, radio here. This rental has been built for people with horses or who are doing horse things, and we're not doing horse things. Oh, I didn't realize we were so close to that really pretty rainbow. So I've put down like a horseshoe pit. Matilda is feeling super tense. She's a workaholic, so she keeps trying to go to work. I had her doing a yoga routine to like distract herself. Yeah, she's feeling tense. Primarily, we're going to say, oh my god, I hate these rocks and things that push you up into the air with your camera. We're going to say she's primarily feeling tense because of the fight that she had with Tilly. And Tilly is feeling tense because nobody listens to her. Nothing's going right. She really wants to talk to her kind of sort of not boyfriend. And what are you feeling? Oh, he's in a midlife crisis, which I can't do anything about because not a single thing in his midlife crisis Q is something he can do. She's like, dear diary, everybody sucks. The end. I love that she did that autonomously. And then she's probably penning because her mum read her diary and she knows that now. So she's probably writing down the side, and if you read this, mum, you suck. Like leaving a note in there for her mother. I would like you to talk to your dad. I think I might actually have him come and try and talk to her just while Matilda's busy and the other kids are busy. He's like, good morning, sweetheart. She's like, morning, Dad. And he's like, look, I know you're angry with us right now. And she's like, I'm mainly angry at Mum. You know, she went behind my back. She read my diary. And he's like, well, hopefully you can understand our perspective of the reasons we're doing this. We're doing this because we care about you and we want to make sure you're safe. And Kano is not safe. So hopefully you can at least see it from our perspective. And she's like, look, I know that you guys love me. I just think you need to trust me and my character judgment ability. And obviously he's thinking to himself, you're like 16 or something. So they could go round in circles on this forever. They've had this conversation already. Hey, here's a question for you guys. I'm going to have a little side tangent here. I only noticed the Sims team and Sims starting to say Sully with this pack. Is this new? Have I just been missing this the whole time? It's Sul, right? Well, since when did they start saying that? He just said Sully. It's just a this pack thing, right? Is it like the equivalent of howdy versus hi? I don't know. If you know the answer to that question, I'd love to hear it because I don't understand it. I find it a bit cringe and I can't quite figure out why. Oh my gosh, Malachi's midlife crisis has passed. I just invited the horses over that they went for the trail ride on because I thought they could have just a ride around in, what do we call this place? Galloping Gulch. Kai has never been on a horse in his life, so that will be interesting. But yes, he's inviting Tilly to the romance festival. Obviously we're going to say no because she doesn't have access to her phone. But let's have a quick look. So it says Malachi's midlife crisis has passed and he's going through a resolution phase, reflecting on who he is and where he is in life. He's attempting to contemplate life right now. The horse is not enjoying being scratched. Yeah, I thought I'd just have them go for a little bit of a trail ride. Matilda is bending herself into a pretzel, which we cannot see because there are rocks behind me and the camera won't stay where I put it. But yes, this is our pretzel. She's actually wellness level 9 now, which is quite impressive, I have to say. But I want you to take a photo. Just take a photo because it's actually really pretty and your lips are in the photo. Because she's got terrible photography skills, so I fully expect these photos are going to have gnomes in them, but that's fine. She's doing this and probably feeling very sad because it is actually coming up on prom time. That face though, she's facing the wrong way. This is the face of a teenager that's trapped in a remote location on vacation and doesn't want to be there. This is the face of a teenager faking being happy about it. It would have been nice to get a photo of her with the waterfall, but I don't want to mess around with it anyway. So yeah, she's set fire to the pile of leaves, which I didn't sweep up. That just happened. She's like warming herself. It is actually quite cold. Yeah, don't burn yourself, my dear. I'm just going to check in on these guys. All right, we're bouncing around like a sack of potatoes. Honestly, this is the worst gait of a horse, especially when you don't know what you're doing because you are going to end up with a bruised butt. She's doing all right. He's settled in quite nicely, actually. He actually looks more comfortable on horseback than his dad does, and his dad should have more horse riding skill. So, I don't know. I don't know what that says. He's still, like, bouncing with his legs out, like, not held down and stuff. Kai's got his feet in the right position. Interesting. I don't know what's going on there. All right, I just got the notification that prom is starting. Obviously, she can't go to this, so we are going to say skip prom. I'm going to have Matilda finish up her yoga, and then because Tilly's the only one there, she's like, help me with dinner, because it is dinner time. Ah, Tilly. Oh, look, did you see the look on Tilly's face? It's like, no, Mum, I'm not helping with dinner. And she's just like, going to have leftovers, and she's sitting down. Poor Matilda's not feeling well. She's like, oh. I tried to have them have a mother-daughter moment. You guys saw it. Tilly was like, no! She should be at prom right now. She's imagining the dress she had picked out and how Kano would have reacted to it. And like, you know, was probably imagining a cute, because, you know, it was the last prom she went to where she discovered that he'd started, like, that he'd made himself younger and everything. So she's probably remembering that. And like, she had all these hopes that maybe Alexander and Kano could become friends, or at least not hate each other. Her parents have just disregarded everything she wants. But also she really wants to talk to Kano about the whole he murdered people thing. So she's got a lot of thoughts, this girl. I'm going to have her be like, I'm super tired, I'm going to bed. What are we, hello? Something's going wrong here. Yeah, no wonder you're tired. Robin's had clearly just malfunctioned. Her horse was doing some sick circle work. I want to be a ninja when I grow up. You should start practicing your hiding. I mean, this is what we're doing right now. We're hiding. Your parents are actually great at hiding. To be fair to these two, he's a deity, and what else are you going to do, right? So thankfully for Tilly, or perhaps not thankfully for Tilly, depending on your perspective, Alexander's actually a good friend. And he'd pass on the message. The only way Alexander could do it was actually at prom. Kano doesn't have any way to get here. There's no ocean kind of water connectivity. So he basically said to Alexander, you need to drive me there. And Alexander's given him a lift, and they've driven for the last, 2-3 hours to come to this place in Chestnut Ridge where it has started snowing. They're not friends. don't imagine that they're friends, but they've had some time to talk in the car, and Alexander's reassured Kano he's not interested in Tilly. He just wants to make sure she's safe, and Kano's realised that's actually something that they have in common. So Alexander still doesn't really trust Kano. That evil laugh just then is a reason why. But they have arrived. The doors would be locked, but Kano also... Oh, he's doing yoga. Don't freeze to death, Alexander. Kano also has significant magical prowess. He's a deity. I gave him almost every spell that spellcasters have. He is actually a spellcaster. That's how the Sim's been built. So if a spellcaster can do it, he can do it. I'm going to just have him very quietly sneak in. He can like kind of sense Tilly when she's close. And she's like, oh my God, you're here. And she's being super quiet. I'm going to have her start by giving him a hug. She would be delighted to see him, but she's still feeling stressed because he's here now. And he's like, oh my God, I was so worried about you. Oh my God, he's actually pranking her. My dude. Maybe they could sit together and we will light the fire. They're having an unpleasant conversation. That actually probably makes sense because she's like basically confronting him and saying, they told me that you killed people. It makes sense why he'd be like kind of sassing her a little bit. Yeah, you could like deep thoughts. He like kind of bit back at her a little bit. And then she's like, no, but seriously, did you? He's basically saying, look, I did. I admit it. I've told you, I mean, you know, right, that I wasn't myself. And the pollution in Muapalam, it had affected me and Vaya, but I think it affected me worse. I don't know why. I've wondered about that because it was her oceans that were polluted and my volcano wasn't as polluted because fire purifies. Please don't go inside. Loved how they listened to me. Maybe she tried to storm off and he's like followed her. He's like, please like listen to me. I don't know why it affected me worse, but it did. It did affect both of us, but I did things that I am not proud of and that at the time I thought were justified. I thought all Sims, like all humans, were evil, all of them, and I couldn't see that there were different types of humans, and I thought it was warranted to try and kill any human that came into my domain because humans did oil leaks. And Robin, sweetheart, she just walks past. She's like, hey. I think if she came out of her room and saw them here, she would 100% go up here and wake up her parents. She'd be like, he's here. So yes, Robin is quickly scurrying up the stairs and she's like, Mom, Dad, you have to wake up. Why? What's the matter? Is everything okay? You know, you're feeling unwell. Everyone has had a cold in this household by this point, so they're probably thinking it's that. She's like, Kano is downstairs. So Tilly's starting to hear what he's saying and she's feeling very... I mean, I've still got the tense mood on her, but that's because she would get it again now when they come down the stairs. But she's starting to feel like she hears him and she's like understanding what he's saying. She's like, well, you need to apologize to Josh and my Uncle Sebastian because you did do them wrong. And he's like, yes, I understand that. And at that point, these two come down the stairs. So Matilda's immediately coming down the stairs. She's glaring at him and she is fuming and she's going to come in and get stuck straight into him. She's like, how dare you flirt with my daughter, you revolting monster. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, I had to leave everything I cared about. I had to move away from my brother. I had to move away from the ocean that I love. I had to move my husband away from the ocean that he grew up beside. And we did all of this to get away from you. We moved across the country and you followed us and you've insinuated, like you've inserted yourself with my daughter. And then we've come here to get away from you and you followed us again. And is there anything we can do to get peace from you? They now despise each other. That's wonderful. So I'm going to have him maybe try and talk to Tilly because she's like, Mum, stop. And Matilda's like, no, I will not stop. And Malachi's like, you know, let your mother speak, Tilly. So, you know, Malachi is sort of shouting over the top of this argument and saying, look, let her speak. She's getting stuck into him. And he's like, look, I'm sorry for everything I did in the past. You know, you're right. I was a bad person, but I'm a better person now. And Tilly's jumping in and saying, you have to allow for the possibility that he can change. And Matilda's like, he can't change. He's a god. He's the god of fire and destruction. And how can he change? It is inherent in who he is. Sorry if they're being really loud, by the way. One of the bits of evidence that he has actually changed is that he's not using his powers. He has magic he could use to change their friendship, and he's not doing it, which is actually a sign that he's changed. Reconcile argument. We'll give it a try. It's probably not going to work. She is very angry. Malachi's angry too. So she's clearly not accepting his apology. She wants to talk over her relationship fears with her husband, which is funny because he's always the one that's been jealous before of this situation, but now it's Matilda with relationship fears. The shoe is on the other foot. You okay? Okay. So she's gotten so angry and she's been under so much stress. I didn't cue that as a cheat, but I did cheat her mood. I'm gonna have, can she cry? Is there anything? She can't even interact. I couldn't interact with that at all. What? That is the strangest fear at the strangest time. Everything does not seem to be going Matilda's way at all lately. It just has been bad news after bad news. People keep saying you never know until you try, but never talk about how it feels like after trying something new and it not working out. Matilda can't take another disappointment. It is terrifying and too painful to try again. I don't have a problem with the sentiment. I do have a problem with the fact that it turned up as she got executed by Grimm. Okay, she's also losing her workaholic lifestyle because she's dead. That is the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. Seeing the kind of grief, and I think he's really now appreciating what he did to Joshua and Sebastian. He's like, I'm so sorry. This isn't right. And she's like, no, it's not. But what can you do? And he's like, well, there might be something I can do. So he's calling on his divine power and he's summoning Tilly from the grave. Obviously, she's very angry, partly because she died of an anger death. Matilda, can you hear me? And she's like, yeah, I can hear you. And he's like, I'm sorry. So she's yelling at him. She's like, you did this to me. And he's like, no, I didn't. Matilda, I've made mistakes in my past and I acknowledge that and I want to do what I can to atone for it. I don't expect you to forgive me. I love your daughter. I want her to be with me and it's important to me that even if I know you're not going to forgive me, that I've at least done what I can to make things right with you. And she's like, well, how can you? I'm dead. Now, I've never used this spell, so we're going to see what happens. So he's actually revived her. Mama, you're back. I was so sad. It's like, well, you know, I got better. Poor Malachi was out of the room when this happened, so he's come back down. He's thinking he's actually gone crazy, and Robin's saying, no, Kano made her be back alive again. And Malachi's like, what? He's gone outside. I kind of love that he's done that to give her privacy. She's feeling homesick. I actually think that's legit, but I'm going to take the morning moodlet off. Because even though she's still like, you know, got tears on her face and stuff from the fact her mother just died, she's not anymore. Can I say help fix bad relationship? We'll see how this goes. I'm not 100% sure how it will because they do genuinely hate each other. Yeah, Kano's coming in and he's like basically begging. He's like, why so negative? Matilda has not been getting along with a particularly pessimistic sim. Pessimists have a very glass half empty view of life. They never fail to see the negative side of things and that can be grating to other sims. Yeah, you can dislike pessimistic sims. They're working on their relationship. I am curious to see what they actually did. I mean, it made a little bit of difference. So he's come out and he's like, I spoke to her, and then she's kissing him and she's like, thank you so much for bringing Mum back. That could have been really scary. Like, that could have been the worst thing ever. And he's like, I know. I'm going to have Malachi grab the urn. I'm actually going to have her ask to be boyfriend because they would still be married, so, you know, please say yes, Malachi. Okay, good. There's fallout. We'll have to deal with the fallout in the next part, but oh, she got the loyal trait. That's actually perfect. He's spent so long being worried that Matilda was gonna cheat on him with Kano, And I love that at the end of all of this, she's gotten the loyal trait. And he's seeing that, and he's seeing her fierceness. I mean, she's going to have to go see some doctors. She's clearly got some heart issues, but he's seeing how fierce she is in protecting Tilly and how much the depth of her disgust for Kano and what he did to her and what he did to Malachi and her brother and everything else. And he's fully seen that on display. She wore her heart on her sleeve to the point where it actually killed her. So we'll take her to see a cardiac specialist when they get home. But I'm going to leave this one here. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands. And I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.